So in this video, I'll be going over why the SMTs that you're trading are not working, okay? And that leads to you being stopped out. So you may find that you have a scenario like this, where we have SMT form, but then you get stopped out. So it may look something along these lines. And this is because of something called SMT market structure shift. And simply put, it is when the lower time frame is not aligned with the higher time frame. So one of the first things that is drilled into our head when we first learn kind of ICT is that the higher time frame holds more power and it trumps the lower time frame. So we shouldn't be expecting the lower time frame SMT to oppose a higher time frame SMT. So we may have a higher time frame SMT here with a lower time frame SMT opposing it, giving a retracement before ultimately being run through. And this is something that you need to be extremely good at spotting, because otherwise you will not be able to know what SMTs will hold and therefore where your drawn liquidities are. So what this may look like is this. Where we could have a weekly cycle sequential SMT, for example. Okay. We have a weekly cycle sequential SMT. And then here we may have a daily cycle sequential SMT. As you can probably guess, this daily cycle sequential SMT is weaker, you may say, than the weekly cycle sequential SMT. So we may have something that looks like this, where we have a weekly cycle sequential SMT sending price higher, a daily cycle sequential SMT offering a retracement before ultimately being ran through. And this here is SMT market structure shift. And you really need to be good at spotting this, because you will just keep continually being stopped out on these trades. Okay. Now what can you do when you're in this scenario where we have the weekly cycle sequential SMT and you've potentially missed this reversal point here? If you see this daily cycle sequential SMT, you can expect a retracement, knowing that price is going to move higher, and you can look for an entry here. This may be a PSP. It could be an even lower time frame SMT or sequential SMT. So you may look for a 90-minute cycle sequential SMT here, or you can look for things like SMT fill, causing price to reverse. These are all different things that you can be looking for when trading these retracements and these SMT market structure shifts. I really hope this answers some questions that you have, because I know that a lot of people struggle with figuring out why their SMTs are not working. And I would argue this is probably one of the most important videos I've made, because if you do not have this understanding, then you'll never be trading in the correct direction that price wants to move in. So to recap, SMT market structure shift is when the lower time frame is not aligned with the higher time frame. So it may look like this example here, where we have a weekly cycle sequential SMT, giving us that bullish bias, and we have a sequential SMT on a lower time frame cycle, giving a retracement, where we ultimately move higher because of the higher time frame sequential SMT. And to catch that move after the SMT market structure shift, we can look for an even lower time frame cycle sequential SMT, PSPs, or SMT fills, anything of that nature. I'll say it one more time. Please, please, please make sure that you understand this and watch this as many times as you need.